Finally off the deathbed and feeling a little bit better. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's been a hot minute since I've been on. Got hit with the COVID, the influenza, and the bronchitis. Got a triple whammy, but back now. Time to get on to the latest projects. The 2022 nprc series is finally coming to an end now, and it's time to look into what's going on for 2023. New rules are out, so we're going to look into that and see what kind of cars we want to build this year. The nprc group just happened to give us a early Christmas present with their 2023 rule sets brought out to everybody. Usually they do that in January, but this time they gave it to us early, right before the end of the 2022 season, so now we can pull out our cars and get ready for some of the new classes that they got and start getting them ready. With my group here in Alberta, Outlaw hasn't changed at all, so that's our biggest class, so that's going to continue to run, no problem. Our 13.5 class and 17.5 right now, we're mixed together with both car classes, and they seem to be doing pretty much the same, so that's going to stay the same, and I'm still going to continue to run my 13.5 class car in our group. But the new things that we're doing, so we're doing the where is it? The VXL Outlaw class. So basically any chassis, any tire, any battery, wheelie bars are still okay to use. In exception, we won't be running any pro mod bodies, so it's going to be just like the 13.5 class rules, where there can be no bumper cutouts, have to follow the body lines, realistic body, so that'll be pretty fun. And of course you got to use the VXL3 ESC and any motor. So you'll be using the Traxxas VXL motor and ESC, any battery connector, and your minimum weight's 2,500 grams. So that's a pretty cool class by the looks of it, so we're going to be introducing that. And then we're also going to be introducing the 10.5 class to our group. Alright, the rule set for the 10.5 Pro Street dry tires chassis, short course base rear wheel drive chassis, no carbon fiber chassis allowed, which is nice. Then I got a DR10 tub that I could use for that, so that'd be pretty cool. No four-wheel drive or four-wheel drive converted to two-wheel drive chassis allowed. Batteries, 2-cell 8.44 max roar approved lipos, and Gen Zeiss Redline Drag 2S 130 cell high voltage batteries only. Tires, stock to the most available tires. Oops, I said that wrong. Stock or the most available tires, Proline, J Concepts, or DRCs. This is a dry tire class, which means no prepping of your tires. We ask that you run the tires the way that they come from the manufacturer, so no conditioning, no BS, just open up the package and run them. For bodies, must cover the wheels and look scale. This class replicates fast street cars, so no pro mod bodies, no splitters, no gigantic wings, and absolutely no wheelie bar. Weight, all cars ready to race must meet the 4.54 pounds, so 260 grams minimum. Must have 4 shocks each corner, the stability of a wheel, and intended for the manufacturer. Shocks must have movement, no tie rods or lockdown, so just like every other class, you gotta have shocks that actually work. Motor, this class is intended to be an entry level class for the motor, and the motors need to be roar approved, no Outlaw 10.5 motors allowed. To be clear, Phantom, R1, and Trinity Punisher motors are not allowed. No motors from motor builders like Rotor Ron or MBR are allowed. If you want to go faster, the Super Sport class is what you're looking for. So basically any roar approved motors and you're good to go for that. ESC and tuning. Turbo and boost are allowed, so you can obviously do all your timing and tuning through your ESC in this class. And looks like that's basically the rules for the 10.5 class. So I blow the dust off one of my DR10s and I can get that class car going pretty easily. Finally brought my cars in from the garage. They haven't been touched since the last race that I was at, which was the Big Sky Shootout. So cars were rode pretty hard, put away wet, if you know what I mean. So we'll go to the bench. We'll start off with my Outlaw car and we'll see the condition and what we're going to do to improve it for the 2023 season. Alright, let's move to the bench. Alright, well here she is. This is the Biddy Designs body. It made it unscathed pretty much the whole entire race. They're at Big Sky, brand new fresh body, but last race on the 4th round when I got knocked out, I hit the ramp on the finishing line and did a little bit of damage, a little bit of scuff on the roof as you can see, and then a little bit of crackage on the body, nothing much, but the team decided to switch colors for next season, so this body is now going to get shelved and we're going to look at a new body. The chassis here, this is the CJC Maverick 2. I already took the electronics out of it. I was running the Mamba 8S ESC and the Castle 6400. I removed that already because it's actually gone into my top speed Sen F450 truck. So if you're watching my videos, you would have seen that. But if you haven't, just look for it. Trying to reach 100 miles an hour with that. But for next season, we're going to be swapping out the ESCs. We're going to be going with the new Ghost 6S ESC, modified Castle. And it's supposed to be a huge improvement from the old 8S and 6S Castle ESC. So looking forward to being able to try that out. I was also running the 6400 kV Castle motor, debating whether or not I'm going to stick with that for next season. Maybe try out the Trinity 4-pole, but we'll have to do some testing and stuff on that first. Yeah, what you see here, the V2 chassis, the only downside that I found with this chassis this year, well, two things, is the rear body mount. So it's actually not attached to the shock tower like your standard plastic standoffs would be. This one here runs little aluminum L brackets, and I find even just the downforce of how fast these cars are going, it actually bends really easy. So then it kind of throws your car off with the aerodynamics if you don't catch it after your run, especially if you roll it. It bends down and does a bunch of funky things. So this year, or well, not this year, but next coming season, I'm going to be switching out to Team GFRP full floating body mounts for the rear on that. And the other thing that I got, you can see, it's the wheelie bar. I can't remember who I got that from. Shoot, what is it? Undercover drag chassis rear wheelie bar. That's what it is. Sorry guys, totally slipped my mind on the name of that. And the other thing that I didn't really like about the setup this season was the front. So I have the did I switch this one back? No. So right now we have the knuckles swapped around, so all the steering is on the front of the chassis. And just because the way that the servo's set up, it pushes everything forward. It gives you a perfect 13.5 wheelbase, but the problem is none of the drag bodies that I run are 13.5. So you gotta recut the front wheel wells, and it looks funny when they're not cut out to the body, but that's just me. I'm sure a lot of people are running this setup, but I'm going to switch that up next year just for my personal preference. I like the looks of the factory wheel wells. It looks kind of funny to me when you push them a little bit more forward. So that's going to get swapped. Still running the V2 Team Associated shocks, so the 13mm bores, which I might swap out to the 12mm, because I think they're going to cause an issue with the geometry and the link placement when I go to fix it for my new bodies. But we'll see when I get to that stage anyways. All in all, I have to say the car ran pretty friggin' awesome this year. I'm definitely going to stick with this chassis again for next season and see how much I can improve, and from what I learned from last season. Best time I got this year was 1.9, and I think for sure with everything I learned last year, or this season I should say, should be able to improve that for next year. But for now, let's switch over to my 13.5 car. Alright, let's swap over the camera view here. Alright, so here's the 13.5 car. Sorry, the lighting kind of sucks right now. It's getting pretty late here. Alright, so with this, running same thing, the Castle 8 SESC. Only thing is I took the fan off on this one. Running the version 1 R1 13.5 motor. This thing has been abused and abused and abused, so it's definitely time to have this ripped out and have it rebuilt, cleaned up, and put back in for next year. I was with this one running the DRK battery pack 7200. Same pretty much exact setup as my Outlaw car. Only difference is I removed the chassis braces off of this one and made it as light as possible. So with the body and battery installed ready to race, it was at 2600.1 grams. So it was perfect. It was right at the minimum required weight, and a perfect 60-40 split. This thing was a rocket ship. I'll throw up some videos of how she ran at the Big Sky Shootout.
Who's ready? Track is yours.
Well, I thought I had more video than that, but also got deleted off my phone when I got my new one. But yeah, it was pretty awesome. 13.5. The car made it to 4th round when she finally blew the tires off her and spun around where I got knocked out. But yeah, it was running nice and strong the whole weekend. Running blue dot reactions, dry tire. It was a cold night, and it took a lot of heat to get the tires to actually want to hook up on the ground, but wouldn't change it for the world. It was an absolute blast for the time I had with it out there, and looking forward to being able to go out to Montana, to Billings, and do it all over again. Alright, back to the chassis. Let's switch the cameras around here. Alright, so this car here, I switched the steering setup back so it fit the wheel wells properly on my car, and as you can see, the geometry, oh, we got some prep on here from playing around on the front yard, or the front of the house here. You can see the geometry is totally whacked out. The bump steer on this car is really bad, so you gotta figure out a way with the servo mounted the way it is that I can straighten out the angle, the control, or not the control arms, the steering links properly, just to eliminate the bump steer, because it's a handful when the car wants to go all over the place. So I'll get that straightened out for next year. I'm gonna get this all ripped apart, gonna get the new bearings put into it, Speed Secret bearings. Like I said, get the motor cleaned out, remove the ESC, because we're gonna go with the Ghost Ace Castle 6S ESC on this one too. and go from there. The top speed I got with this car this year was a 2.45, and yeah, she's capped out for sure. See if I can get anybody this year, but I don't think I will. But as long as I can keep it running at a 2.45, I think they'll have a pretty good car for a 13.5 class for next year. But the video is getting pretty long now, so I'll leave the next two cars for the next episode, where we'll go over what we're going to do for 10.5 class and the Traxxas drag slash for the box stock. But that'll be for future videos, and then we'll also get a list going of all the parts that we're going to need to convert the two back there for the flow and body mounts, and what kind of tires and stuff we're going to look at for next year. But that's all I got for this evening. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and you'll be notified every time a video is posted. Have a good one, guys. Talk to you in the next one.